How's it going?
Nick, can you provide an update on Miles Sanders' health heading into the week of practice?
Yeah, everybody will be doing some sort of something in practice today. So you'll get the injury report a little bit later, but you'll get the injury report right after practice. But everybody in some capacity is participating in practice today.
Nick, now that the season is finally here, what was your overall messaging to the team this morning?
Yeah, we talked a lot about the daily process, everything like that. But we talked, about dog mentality today, and just what that means, and how important that is for a season. And what that means is you're on to the next play, regardless of if what happened was good or bad. The play before. So you had a bad play, you're on to the next play. You had a good play, you're on to the next play. And it's controlling what you can control on that next play. And what you can control on that next play is constantly, right, your intensity of which you go about your business, your attention to detail for your job description and what you need to do to accomplish the job, and your fundamentals and what you need to do, and also your attitude.
What differences should we expect to see in Jalen relative to the last time he was on the field against Tampa?
Yeah, I think again we've talked a lot about his development as a football player, and I think you'll what we've seen at practice over and over and over again is him being able to get through reads quicker, him being more accurate with his throws. So it's the same thing we've been talking about throughout the last seems like about the last month of just his progression as a player. And so again I think you guys are probably be able to predict what I'm going to say here. Like guys that guys that are competitive, guys that are tough, and guys that love football have the ability to reach their ceiling, and I just see him continuing to grow.
In terms of the general football fan is going to be a little more familiar probably with the Lions because of Hard Knocks. Is there anything of value that you, in preparing to play them, do you watch it? Do you take anything away from it?
Sure. I mean, we watch everything. We're going to listen to we're going to listen to media broadcasts of what the Lions do, right? And you're doing everything you can do to turn over every single stone you can turn over to see if you can get an advantage. The parity in this league is so tight and so small, and the margin of error is so small. Of course, you try to take anything you can from anything. We'll watch. We'll watch Coach Campbell's press conferences. We'll watch their Jared Goff's press conferences, and sure, we'll watch Hard Knocks to figure out if we can get something out of it. And so, no stone will be unturned.
What's your level of concern with Miles Sanders' hamstring, considering that he's had the same injury previous times before? And were you holding him out to be cautious, or was that the necessary amount of time he needed?
That was the necessary amount of time. As far as my level of concern, not high.
Nick, everywhere you look, somebody's picking you guys to reach the Super Bowl, number 1 seed, 12, 13 wins. Do you need to talk to your guys about not listening to that, not buying into it, or is that something they should know already?
Yeah, you think like what we say to them all the time, hey, I know you know this already, but right, or whatever. That's our job as coaches, is to state sometimes what's not the obvious, but also what is the obvious. And so what you've hoped that you've done, and what I believe that we've done because of the guys that we have in this building, is you set a culture. Your culture isn't just the 5 words that connect, compete, accountability, football IQ, fundamentals. That's part of it, right? But the culture is also about how you go about your business every day. And that's part of the dog mentality thing too, right? You go about your business every day forgetting of what happened in the past, or forgetting of what somebody says about you, right? Oh, they say we stink. Cool. We're gonna work the way we need to work. They say we're really good. Cool. We're gonna work the way we're gonna work. They say we're average. Cool. We're gonna work the way we're supposed to work. And then when you have that mentality, right, that dog mentality, when you have that mentality of you're going about your business every day, right, you're able to sort through things like that.
Just circle back on the Hard Knocks question. Who in the staff is responsible for looking at that stuff?
I think that we're all football fans. Like on Thursday, one of my favorite things to do on Thursday night when I get home is put the kids to bed and spend time with my call sheet, and just sit there and watch the game while I have my call sheet here, right? While I watch the Thursday night game, while I have that call sheet there. And I think that's the same thing here. We're all football fans, so depending on who's watching it, right? A lot of guys watched it, right? And then you talk about it, and because we're football fans, and we live it upstairs, and then we watch it happen on TV, right? And so we all kind of were able to pick some things and watch some things like that.
When you look at Detroit, like how much different are they from the team that you beat like 44-6 last year?
Yeah, I think this team is really well coached. I think this team plays really hard. I think they got good players at each level, and we know some of those players didn't play last year against us. And so, again, like I said, it goes back to the dog mentality. It doesn't matter what happened last time. We know we got to come out there with our best game, we know we can be beat, right? If we don't go out there and play the way we're supposed to play, and if we don't pay attention to our detail and we don't take care of our business, they can beat us. I don't care what the score was last year. We know this is a good football team, and we know we got to be ready to go on game one and when we kick off at 1 o'clock.
The team was in
talk about Jalen and where he's improved. When you do a self-scout, your own growth and your coaching staff's growth from year one to year two, how do you feel different entering this season?
Yeah, when you go through, when you talk about, hey, it's important that we climb every day, that we get 1% better every day, we get a little bit better each day, right? We're not just saying that to the players, like we're trying to live that as well. And so, one thing that was great for our coaching staff, and I learned this at Mount Union. Gosh, there's just so many things I learned from Larry Karras at Mount Union. It's amazing. Like I said this to somebody the other day. I'm like, I always felt like we had better teams than this team or that team, but you just don't I looked up his record when I was over there in Ohio. You don't just go 323, and LA, you'll call me on this if I read this stat wrong. You don't go 323, 24-1 if you're not a phenomenal coach. And to me, he's the best coach ever in college football, and I'll always say that. And so I think about all the things that I learned from Larry Karras and Coach Karras. I don't ever say Larry. LK, Coach Karras. And one thing that he was awesome at and I didn't know this as a player, but I found out as a coach that he knew we had good coaches in the building, so he put us through things as coaches in the off season to develop us as far as, hey, Nick, I want you to study this, right? I want you to study whatever, screen game. Okay, here, Nick, you take the screen game, this particular screen, you study it. Hey, Matt Campbell, who is now the head coach at Iowa State, you study protections and this particular 5-man protection or this 8-man protection or this 7-man protection. You're going to present to it. And Jason Candle, who's the head football coach at Toledo, like we were all on the same staff, right? And Jason Candle, you look at this wide receiver or this concept, and then you present to that. So what we would do that, right? And then we would come in and we'd talk. Well, we did that same thing this year, right? And I won't tell you the topics. Sometimes the topics are something you want to be better at because you didn't feel like you were good enough at. Sometimes it's a trend around the league. So whatever it is, I got great coaches on this football staff. And so we did that this offseason. And I really believe some of the things that we studied, and some are better than some studies are better than others because of the amount of time you're going to spend on them. But I really valued that, and I really know that our coaches valued that. And it's not just because we're talking to the defense. When you learn something about a defense as an offensive coach, that's good for your development as coach. So we lived that this offseason, and I just saw that in our staff. And I'm obviously grateful to Coach Karras for teaching me that fundamental of coaching.
If you think back,
long answer I got. I'm sorry.
Back to that game last year, it was a low point for the team before that. What was the significance of that game for your coaching career?
We talked about growth under the soil and then the fertilizing. I'm teasing. It was, I know you guys have asked me this before, and we talked about, what maybe did you learn? I think I've answered this in the sense of like, what did you learn last year? And I think what you learn is you have to be in the moment of where you are right now. You can't do this. It goes back. I keep saying dog mentality. It goes back to that over and over and over again in the sense of like, all right, well, we're 2-5, and we got to move on. We got to get better from those things. But I can't look all the way down the road how we're going to catch and get out of this hole, right? I can't look up at the top of the mountain and say I got to climb that, right? Because sometimes the fog and it's so cloudy, you can't see the top of the mountain. It's just, what am I climbing today? And that was kind of, I don't want to say that's where we said that, but that's kind of where maybe it hit me in that going into that game last year is like, focus here, be here, only in this part. And so, maybe that was it. And, but we definitely learned that from last year.
Time for two more. Put Andre Dillard on IR, and how long do you expect him out, and what's the plan to fill that roster spot?
We don't. Right now we don't have to fill the roster spot right now. We want to do what's best for the team to fill it with the right person that we need to, the right person, right player. As far as, him being out, we knew he'd be out for a little bit, and we felt comfortable that, we'd at least be out for 4 weeks to put him on IR. But as far as putting him a time, I'm not going to put a timetable on him. But he went on IR because we didn't expect him back. Within in practice, and I say this all the time, like O-line, D-line, that's live. O-line, D-line's live every single day. When you got pads on, the O-line, D-line's live, and, that's how he did it.
Last one.
How beneficial is the continuity on offense for Jalen, basically having the entire offense back with the addition of A.J., but to add or to, the comfort level of adding things to the playbook and expanding things?
Yeah, obviously super comfortable, right? The more you rep something, the more comfortable you're going to be, right? We've talked about this before as far as the quarterbacks in the NFL, like sometimes they feel like they get better with age, right? Well, because they've seen everything. And we didn't hold any coaching points back. Like every coaching point we had on the plays that we have in, like we're not holding any in our back pocket. Like he's been hearing the same coaching points for a year. And so the job description, he understands the job description more because we've taught it to him more. And, he's just developing there because of the amount of reps. And like I said, the type of person and the type of teammate and type of player he is. I would normally answer one more, but we do have a walkthrough right now. One more in addition to Bob.